Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Golseth.
And I'm still not Andy. I'm Peter Slayton.
Thanks for joining me, Peter.
That joke never gets old.
It really doesn't.
For me, at least.
Yeah, I know.
It's so fun.
Andy's out sick today.
Yeah.
We do hope he gets better, though.
We do.
It's been fun having like random people texting at like 8:45.
Literally 10 minutes ago. Hey, do you want to be on the show?
Hey, be my co-host. It'll be fine.
I have my coffee, so
good.
I'm totally in the mode.
Right? Yeah. Well, and we're talking about something that you know very well.
Oh, yeah.
The March for Life.
Yes.
So...
I've been to several of them.
Right.
Lots.
And I'm going for the first time this year.
Ooh,
so
this will be
segment, fun. It was basically kind of selfish on my part because I'm like, I need to know what to be prepared for. So let's just talk about it on air. Yeah. Why not? And who better than you and our host? Good.
Hey, Betsy, you've been upgraded.
Yeah. Now you're a host.
You're the
Betsy.
host.
Awesome.
Deaconess Betsy Karkin, who is the University Deaconess at Concordia University, Chicago. Go Cougars. Thanks for joining us, Betsy.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm glad to be here.
I think Betsy might actually have been to more marches than me, so she's an even bigger expert.
Oh, man.
I think.
Oh, I don't know. I've been to 3 of them that I remember. I
okay.
think.
Well, I guess I beat you because I go to the Chicago ones, too.
Oh, well.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Which is really bizarre because I've actually never been
You're like right there.
I know. We're going this Sunday. So,
Excellent. Yes, I was going to ask.
Yes. So we'll definitely be there.
All right, so help us survive these. We need to know because it's these marches. Any given year, you could have fantastic weather, you could have awful weather,
Blizzard.
Yeah, literally a blizzard.
Literally.
Yeah.
Last year in Chicago, all my devices froze in the middle of the march while I'm live streaming. It just boom, there goes the light. So give us some tips on how to prepare for these, what to expect when you get there, and how to survive.
Yeah, so we never know what to expect. Actually, the first year we arrived, we flew into, I think, Reagan or something like that, and we were told that our flight for Saturday was canceled because it was going to snow, and they canceled it 2 days in advance. So that was interesting. We ended up being stranded in Washington, D.C. for an extra 4 days. I think we finally left on Monday evening. And then I believe, was it last year? The weather was gorgeous.
Oh, it was beautiful last year.
It was so beautiful, and it was sunshine, and it was, we were still bundled up, but it wasn't hurt your face cold outside. So, so we always tell our students dress for lots of layers and anticipate that you're going to walk a lot. As far as packing goes, we just wear your best walking shoes and dress in layers and have like a backpack or something if you need to take gloves and hats and things like that off as well.
So the moral of that story is prepare for the unpreparable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm a person that's, generally cold, I think, living here in Chicago all the time. And so I always dress for more. I dress for it to be colder than it is.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it like in the crowds? What can people expect? Or maybe there isn't anything to expect. But when you actually get to the mall in D.C., what are the crowds like?
Well, there's a lot of people. I think it was last year we tried to move into the stream of people marching, and you couldn't. It was like there was just walls and walls of people, and we kept on thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to be at the end of the march, because I think maybe we stood there for like 20 minutes looking for a spot for a whole group of us to just kind of merge into the march. And then it was when we climbed up the hill and looked behind us, there were still thousands of people behind us even. what I've noticed is, in general, it's a really exciting crowd to be in. So everyone is joyful and happy, and there's lots of people with children on their shoulders, and many people from different, backgrounds, many different faith traditions that are there. And so in general, I know I've never been to like some of the other marches, but I've heard some people say that the difference with us is that everyone is joyful, respectful, kind for the most part. And so that's actually quite neat to see that this important event is happening, and we're making a difference just by our presence and not being angry, I guess.
You're in a crowd of thousands upon thousands of people who are caring for you and helping you. They're not each person is not there for their own. I compare it, I think the only other time I've been in crowds even close to that size would be, at a sports event or a concert where you're at a stadium, and you imagine walking out of the stadium after the event and the floods of people just shoving and pushing, and everybody's trying to get out the door first. It's that size of a crowd, you're that packed, but nobody's shoving. Nobody's pushing, nobody's elbowing you. You're all walking in the same direction with the same purpose, happily.
Yeah, and that is pretty much like what you can mark the event as being. We have had a couple of experiences with some bizarre marchers who seemed to be protesting the marchers, but they were pro-life, and so many of us kind of looked confused, like, what are you doing? So I think it's okay to be prepared for that there might be some angry people there, but in general, everyone even responds to them with smiles and with kindness. And so that's kind of a unique thing to see, when you have somebody yelling in your face and telling you something that's not true about you, and you have everybody else responding that, God loves you, and you keep moving forward and smiling.
Yeah.
It's really unique.
One of the things that I've appreciated about the movement itself is in the last 10 to 20 years, there's been a very intentional move towards the positivity and the joy rather than angry against fighting, which tended to characterize the movement. There's been a strong, concerted, intentional move towards what we now see when you go on the march, where it is a joyful, happy, positive movement. And I think that's why some of those other internal groups stick out so much, because that's kind of what we were, or the movement was a long time ago, but it hasn't been that for a while. Now this just feels off.
Yeah.
Well, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of life.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's also helpful that we're walking with all the Lutherans who like to sing a lot.
Yeah,
too.
We do.
Yeah.
So if you're joining us, we will actually give you cards, like big poster boards with hymns on the back. So if you're worried about, I don't know the words, we'll actually give you the words, so like we can march and sing at the same time. It's really great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. Betsy, is there something that you wish you would have known before you went to the march for the first time, or a bit of advice for all the first-time people out there who maybe don't know what they're getting into quite yet?
I would say always give yourself more time than you think you need. So don't use your, whatever maps system you're using and say, oh, it's only going to take us 34 minutes to get there by train. You should double that. Crowds and wait time and stuff like that, especially if you're traveling with a group. I've always traveled with a big group from Concordia with our CUC for Life group, and it's kind of like herding cats. And we always have in addition to having like a group chat that we can get a hold of each other, we always have kind of like a, if you get lost, this is where we'll meet sort of backup plan, because even when you're marching with the group, you'll be walking along and you'll think that you're walking next to somebody you know, and then they're, 15 yards behind you. So it's really helpful that we have our Eyes of Life signs, because if you get behind or too far ahead, you can always look for them and, I'll find my people will be around here somewhere.
And our lime green hats.
Yeah.
Especially when it's cold. We've got those. Although other groups have started taking lime green as their color too.
Hey, now.
Make sure that your people.
Yeah.
There's so many neon colors at this event, and every group has stuff. So.
Yep.
Look for the lime green hats or the Eyes of Life signs. That's really helpful.
If somebody wants to join us in Chicago, where should they meet us? Do you know those details?
Oh, I don't know the Chicago details.
Okay.
I should probably know those.
Tell us about DC, and then I'll share Chicago next. DC, where are we meeting? What are we doing?
So DC, they're going to gather at the corner of 12th Street and Madison Drive. And then there's a rally. The rally is going to happen January 18th at 12th Street on the National Mall. So between Jefferson Drive and Madison Drive.
Awesome. And if you're joining us in Chicago, if you're in the Chicago area, we're meeting at Federal Plaza, downtown Chicago. The rally starts at 1 p.m. I believe the march itself starts at 2. And President Harrison is actually one of the featured speakers at the Chicago March. So hopefully you can join us.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it.
Indeed.
Sure.
Got to start my packing list. Getting all my layers.
I've got my heating pads for my iPhone.
Yeah, layers and walking shoes.
Yep.
All right. Betsy Karkin, University Deaconess at Concordia University, Chicago. Thanks for joining us on the Coffee Hour with some expert March for Life tips.
Thanks, Sarah.
And Peter Slayton.
Hey.
Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
Bye,
Anytime.
You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Golseth.
And I'm Peter Slayton.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.